No one talks about the grief of outgrowing your friends. I've had this thought for a while now, but I've never been strong enough to accept it. I am outgrowing my friends, people, places, and I've been rejecting the idea of it. I've been trying to act like it's not like that, but truth is I can't with it anymore, and it's killing me because it really hurts, because outgrowing doesn't mean that you no longer like your friends. It doesn't mean that you can bear with the idea of hanging out with them. And it definitely doesn't mean that you feel superior, because I believe there's this misconception that whenever someone says that they are outgrowing people that they feel superior, but it's quite literally not that. It has nothing to do with it. If I was to talk about my experience and the things that I've gone through, I find myself spacing out more times than not whenever I'm hanging out with them, and I just get lost in my thoughts, and conversations are colorless and simply not anything. I don't really talk much when I'm with them. I don't feel the desire to share about anything, and this isn't because there's nothing going on in my life. You may think like, oh, maybe you're simply reserved, you don't want to talk about anything, but the only reason why I know this is different is because conversations are not energizing. And of course that doesn't mean that every single conversation that you have with a friend has to be uplifting, or that you get this sudden boost of energy. But what I mean is that conversations with friends should feel like gentle, fresh air, like it feels good no matter what it is that you're talking about. But I don't even feel the desire to share. And whenever I'm talking with my usually online friends, I want to share. I feel a spark in me, and that's how I know that it's not the same as it was with my current friends. There's people with whom I really, really enjoy talking and just sharing life, even if we're far away from each other. How is it possible that I feel happier or cozier or just more comfortable with those people that are really far away from me than with my friends? I must sound like I see outgrowing people as a lack of connection. Maybe there was a connection in the past, but there's no longer one. So that's how I would describe it. A lack of connection, a misalignment. Who you are is no longer aligned with them. This could include your values, your interests, your hobbies. And I know some of you could come to me and say, well, I'm not the same person as my friends. We have different interests, or but I feel like once you go through something like this, through an outgrowing people or places stage of your life, you'll understand what I mean. You'll really feel it. If you are going through something like this, or you have in the past, you'll understand that it really hurts, because you want to hold on to them as hard as possible, but it's to some extent exhausting. I have found myself avoiding hanging out with people, or I see how much effort it requires for me to convince myself to go out with them, because I don't want to sound harsh, but sometimes even spending alone time with myself seems and feels more alluring than going out with people I no longer feel safe with. And this isn't safe as in your comfort zone kind of safety, but rather whenever I think about what's feeling safe here means, I think about feeling free to just be. I've recently started to fear judgment from their end. That really hurts, because you shouldn't feel scared of being judged by your friends. I'm not saying that my friends are mean or bad friends or anything. Outgrowing people has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. Simply stated, as I said, who you are is no longer aligned with them, and that's completely normal. That's where I wanted to get. It's completely normal. It's part of life. It's natural. As humans, we're evolving, we're changing, we're growing, and this is one of those things that's very tough, but it's part of self-discovery, self-growth, and it's part of life. Please don't be too hard on yourself for thinking this way or for feeling this way. I know it's very tough. I'm going through it at the moment, but I've rejected the thought and the idea of it happening for the past 2 years, and now that I finally accepted it, I'm trying to just focus on myself, and it's okay, it's part of life. So be gentle with yourself, because because you need it. And if you're going through it, you can let me know in the comments how you're feeling. I just wanted to talk about it. Very vulnerable topic. I really needed to let it out and let it go. I feel like a weight has been lifted. You got this and you're gonna be okay. Okay? Thank you for watching. Bye.